I'm Bill Gates, Chairman of Microsoft. In this video, you're going to see...
Hello, I'm Stephen Berry, and welcome. Today we're looking at Microsoft Excel for Windows 95, and we're looking at the Part 2 edition. And joining me from Microsoft, we have Jenny.
Hello.
Hello there. Now, you're from Product Services.
Yes.
Now, what exactly do you do?
Well, basically, it's customer support, where the customer has a problem with Excel and they'll ring in and ask for advice.
Right, so you probably get to speak to lots of different people who are using Excel in lots of different ways.
Yes, certainly do.
Yeah.
It's quite a wide variety of questions that we get asked.
In fact, I know one of the things we'll be looking at today is the top 10 questions that people ask for Excel.
Yes,
and I imagine
certainly.
there's a number of people watching that will benefit from that knowledge as well.
Hopefully, yes.
Who typically would use Excel?
Anybody, basically, your home user and businesses. A lot of businesses have very advanced spreadsheets which they use, and then the home user uses it for their personal accounts and things.
And what sort of things are we going to focus on today?
Everything, really.
Everything? Well,
Yes.
that sounds exciting. Okay, well, we've got a lot to get through, so we probably should make a start.
Yes.
Just a few little tips on how to watch the film. You just simply fast forward to the section you want to see, and you'll use the on-screen clock to help you find that section. Or you can sit down and watch this continuously if you prefer.
Yes, certainly.
All set then?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let's make a start.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the first topic, and we're looking at the top 10 questions that people have about Excel, aren't we?
We are, yes.
And in fact, just so happens that I prepared a little list of questions here for you. So lots of interesting things. These are what, tips and tricks? Tips
and tricks, yes, basically, and also troubleshooting as well. So if you have any problems in Excel, you can find a way of getting around it.
Okay. Well, the first one is to do with time. People doing calculations with time and working out elapsed time differences and so forth.
Yes. The commonest question we get is actually calculating time over 24 hours. It used to be quite a major problem in Excel 4 that you had to have a horrendous formula. But in Excel 5 and Excel 95, there's a new format, number format, which you can use, which gets around the problem.
Shall we have a look at that now?
Yes, certainly.
Okay. So here we are in Excel now.
We are, yes. Right, this is actually the cell I've got the calculation in. So if we just have a look at that.
Well, just before we do, I mean, you've got a little yellow box there popping up.
Yes, this is actually to aid me. It's an attached note, and in Excel 7 you can actually just hover over the cell with your mouse, and it actually shows you the note behind that.
And maybe we'll come back and you can show us how you put the note on the cell.
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
Right, so that's actually calculating the total hours in this list here. And yes, you see I've just got a straightforward sum there up in this formula bar. So it's the sum of B2 to B6.
Yeah.
But what I've actually done is I've applied a custom format to that. Or sorry, not a custom format, a date format, which is over 24 hours. So if we just go up to the formula bar, or the format cells, and you can see down here, I've got hours and minutes there.
Did you create this format, or was this...
No, it's one that's built into Excel now. And you can actually see I've got the square brackets around the H, which indicates it's going to be greater than 24 hours. I've got an example also of how you used to have to do it in Excel 4.
Okay.
So it's a rather cumbersome way of doing it. And here we are. If we just go up to the formula bar...
Goodness me.
Yeah, you can see it was rather horrendous. And we do still get questions on it, but thankfully it was sorted out in Excel 5.
And that's what people had to type before?
That was, yes.
So all you need to do now is do the calculation and insert and use the custom format we just saw.
That's it, yes. So if we just go back up to the format cells, and if we just go to the date, let's just check to see it's in there. Sorry, time. Right, no, that doesn't indicate it, but if we go down to the custom one, you can see it's down at the bottom there. That lists all your formats, rather than just giving you an example. It just gives you the way it's set out.
Yes.
So we just click on that one and would say OK.
And that would do the same thing?
It would, yes.
It's certainly a lot easier, isn't it?
It is, much.
Great. What about, I know another one that people had was working with damaged files, retrieving data from the file.
Right, yes. There's, in Excel 5 and Excel 7, you've now got a way that you can set up links. And sometimes you find you can't get into the file because it's corrupt, and you get an error message when you're actually loading it.
Yeah.
There's one way of getting into that file. It can't guarantee it, but it's certainly a way of trying it. And what you would do is you would set up 2 new workbooks, create a link between them. then go to the edit menu and change the link to your actual corrupt workbook.
Oh, right.
And see if you can pull out the information that way.
So it might still suck some of the information in for you.
It might. You wouldn't get the formulas, that's the only thing, but you would
Yes.
get the data, which is quite useful.
Well, that's
you know.
yes, that's the key
It's
part.
amazing how many people don't take backups of their data, and we do
Right.
get quite a lot of calls on it.
Yes, I hope you're backing your data up out there.
Yes, definitely.
Because you will eventually get to a point where you lose it. You know,
Yes,
something will go
yes.
wrong.
Yes, definitely.
Right, so that was recovering damage from data files. What's this SYLK format? That's another
Right,
thing
this
people ask
is
about.
another thing. If you go into your file and it doesn't look quite right, maybe, I mean, I've had a situation where the formula bars weren't right,
Yeah.
or the column headings. And what you can do is actually save the file as a silk format,
Yeah.
and that's SYLK.
And is that under the Save As File type box?
It is, yes. It means symbolic link, and it allows you to keep the number formulas, so the formulas in the cells, so you don't actually lose any of that. The only thing you lose is your formatting.
Okay.
So you've got the data, you've got the calculations in your workbook,
Yep.
but you don't lose them basically. You just clear out any corrupt formatting that's in there,
Yep.
and it's a very good thing to know that.
So there's two techniques. If your file does become a little corrupt, you can
Yes.
try and link it to another workbook,
Yeah.
or save it as a silk format.
Yes, if you can't get into the file, you haven't got the ability to save it as a silk format, but you have got the ability to link. I mean, more often than not, you don't get in there because the file is corrupt.
Yes.
But it's where the back door in as such, so sometimes it works.
Okay, sometimes worth a try. Worth a try.
definitely, yes.
Okay. Another one is in the page setup, working with headers and footers.
Yes.
And I know Excel gives you default headers and footers.
It does, yes.
Some people want to change those, don't they?
They do, yes, yes. That's another common question.
Is that something you can show us something of?
Yes, I certainly can.
Okay.
Right, we'll actually have a look at this workbook. And if we just go into File and Page Setup, there we are, and you go into your header and footer section. Okay, you can see I've set one up here. I put Jenny's spreadsheet in here. And that's fine, that would be applied to this workbook. So it's just a case of typing in. You would go into Custom Header and just type in what you would want, and in the specific section you've got right, centre and left.
And you can type anything you like in there?
You can, yes.
And you can hit returns?
Yes, yeah, certainly. I mean, I did between Jenny's and spreadsheet.
That's a return, okay.
So, I mean, I can just do...
Okay, you just hit the return key there.
Yes, and just type something else
Right.
in. But say if I wanted to save this if I wanted this in every workbook, what I would have to do is open a brand new workbook,
Yeah.
apply that technique, not having done anything else to the workbook, and save it as a file called book.xlt.
Book.xlt.
That's it. It's a template file.
Right.
And save it in your Excel startup directory.
Yeah.
And what would happen, because we've called it book.xlt, Excel will use that rather than its default settings.
So your headers can already be in place when you go into a new workbook?
Yes. So when you go to page setup, it will be set up already for you.
Okay. And would that include if you used a field for a file name and things like that?
Yes, certainly.
Oh, that's
so it'll
good.
be there all the time.
Yep. I know a lot of companies out there that produce common types of spreadsheets would use that feature.
Yes, certainly.
Good. Okay, well, we're powering through these common questions. Excel gives you a startup directory where you can find your files.
Yes, that's the Excel start.
Yes. Can you have alternative startup directories?
You can. I mean, like if you want to have, in businesses, you want people to have their own personal startup directories. So if you go into the Tools options...
Tools options. Yep.
And go into the General tab, you've got a section down here which is your alternative startup directory, startup file location. And there maybe you've got your own personal directory and you would select that. And basically anything you put in that location will start up automatically when you load Excel.
Oh, right. And what about if you're on network? Could you specify network
You
path?
could, yes.
And you just type the path directly in there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's pretty easy. What about custom cell formats? Can we
Right.
Can we have any sort of flexibility with those?
We can, yes. I've got one I've set up on this worksheet. Right, you can see I've actually changed it to, made my negative numbers to be red.
Right.
So that's a minus number.
Another one of your notes here.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
I think
certainly.
right at the end we'll come back and we'll see how you did that.
Yes. Yeah, it's just a prompt,
A
basically.
prompt, yes.
Yeah, so I've got one set up, actually. This has got a custom format on it as well. So what I've got is, if I've got a positive number, it's going to be in black. If I've got a negative number, so you've got minus 5435, and that will change it to red with the brackets on, which is very useful in accounting.
Sure.
And if I've got text, it's going to put gross receipts for September in there. Because I've just typed September, as you can see up at the top, formula bar.
Yes, because normally you would see the full text up there, wouldn't you?
Yes.
So how did you do it?
Right, I've actually just gone into, again going into the format cells.
Yeah.
Okay, I did highlight the whole range. And I've picked up a number format. And
One of the existing ones?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I've just actually edited it. So there was the one where if it's positive, then it would be black. If it's negative, it would be red.
Yeah.
So I've picked up that one. And then you've got a text field at the end. So if I just go through, I've just put in quotes there.
Yeah. Is that single or double quotes?
Double quotes, because it's text. It's a string,
Yep.
basically. And I've just typed in gross. Let's just go gross receipts for.
Yeah.
Then close the quotes. And the ampersand, sorry, the
That
at
symbol?
sign,
Yes.
yes, indicates that he's going to attach my text there. I mean, you can see I've put a space there as well. If I didn't have that
Yes.
space,
You wouldn't get a space
I
in
wouldn't
there.
get a space between the four and my own text.
So the at returns the text you type?
It does, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so rather than type that format in completely, you've just modified one of the existing ones?
I have, yes. There's a lot of number formats in there, which you can just customise for your own use.
Yep. Okay, good. So that's, as you say, good for accountants, but good for people that want to have a variation on the
certainly.
result based on the numbers. What about if and or functions? Have we got any changes in Excel, in this version of Excel?
No, they're still the same, basically. I've got an if one set up
Yep.
here. Right, I've actually got text.
Yep.
I'm looking at the text in the cell A1. So I'm looking to see if A1 equals yes, then type in correct or return correct,
Yep.
else return wrong. So it's set up that the first section, the first argument is what you're entering, what you're checking.
Yes.
The second one is what's returned if it is right.
Yeah.
And the final section is what is returned if it's not, doesn't match the criteria.
And you could go in between the double quotes and type any text you like?
You could, yes. I could type in something here. I'll just put now in there. Sorry, now.
Right.
And you just see it's changed. I mean, if I change that to no, it just puts wrong.
Okay.
So anything other than yes will return.
Okay, and that's working on text, but could that be a number value? Could you say if
certainly.
A1 is greater than 10, for example?
Yes, we'll just change it now. So I don't need the quotes in this case because there's not going to be a string in there. So I put 10, so it's going to change wrong. But if I just go over and say A1 and change the number to 10,
Yep.
it changes it there.
Okay. Okay.
So a lot of people do use it to
Yep.
check the values which are in the cell and see if it is what they want.
Sure.
Or you can have it so it's a greater, if it's greater than a certain value.
Yes.
And it will change it.
So that's using some logic statements there to do it.
It is, yeah.
I know we've got functions as something we're coming back to later on. You've got a whole lot of functions that you're
I
going to
have,
show us.
yes.
So we'll probably come back to ifs and ors and ands and things.
Yes, I am, certainly.
Okay, what about another one is filling series. A lot of people use the series function in Excel.
Yes.
What about using working days within that series?
Right, there's a quick way of doing this, and that's just using, if you enter a date into a cell,
Yeah.
if you just drag down on your right mouse button,
Oh, sure, let's show the people this one.
okay, let's just go into the right worksheet. Okay, this is one I've done before. Okay, and what I've done, I've got the dates of May,
Yep.
so I've got everything there. Then I've got the weekdays,
Aha.
and I've got months as well. And this is just done, so if you just move over the spreadsheet a bit, and I'll just demonstrate. So if I put in here the 1st to the 5th, 96, okay, and I just go up to the, just where my cursor changes to a black cross, and I now press on the right mouse button and drag it down.
Okay.
And what it does, it brings up a short context menu, and you see I've got these options.
Fill days, yeah, that's...
Fill days,
yeah,
so
that's-
that would do every day in the month.
Right.
Fill weekdays, fill months, fill years. In this case, I just want to do weekdays,
Sure.
so if I just click on that,
And there they are.
yes.
And so it would know, given the month that you're in, it would know how many days there were.
Yes, certainly. I can also demonstrate with the months as well. So if I just do Jan,
Yep.
oops, okay, and just again, with that cell selected, change the cursor so it turns to a black cross, and drag down.
With the right mouse.
With the right mouse button, yes. And you see it's IntelliSense, basically.
Mhm.
It sees its months.
Yes.
And you just put fill months.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's very easy to do, but it's a handy one to know, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Okay. Another one people ask about is working with fixed decimal places.
Yes, yes.
They tend to get a few problems with that.
Yes, it's the thing that's set up. I mean, I've got it set up. When you type the number in,
Mm.
I don't know if I've got this set up at the moment. No. But if I went up to Tools Options, okay, and go to the Edit menu,
Yep.
I've got a section here for fixed decimal places.
Is that a default for the entire worksheet?
It is, yes. So if I clicked in there
Mm.
and just say, let's put 2 decimal places there,
Yep.
and just put OK. Now when I type, if I did 1, 2, 3 again, you can see it's automatically put it in there.
Oh.
So we do get the questions coming in that when I type, it's put 2 decimal places. It puts a decimal point.
Yeah, so somebody perhaps had set the machine up that way before
Yes, and don't realise. And I think this is used in accountancy quite a bit.
them. Okay.
But, I mean, basically, the way to turn that off, if we just go back up to the Tools Options, and just turn it off by
Turn it off
removing
there.
the tick there.
Yep.
I'll just click OK.
But as you say, some accountants may want that turned on.
Yes, certainly.
Okay, well, I think that's 9 of the top 10. The last one is, I think it's something that we saw in Word for Windows. There was an F8 key, which would allow you to extend the selection.
It does, yes.
Now, that works in Excel as well, doesn't it?
It does, yes. Yes.
Okay.
If we go, just go into the worksheet, we just go in here.
Oh, you're very organised, preparing all these tabs at the bottom.
Right, it's another of my cell notes. And if we press the F8 button, anywhere I click,
Oh, so
It will
anywhere you
highlight
click,
the
it will
area.
highlight that area.
so if I turn off the F8 button,
Right.
it turns it off. Or if I move into a different worksheet, it will turn it off. So I'll just do that again. So if I press the F8 button, there
Okay.
we are,
Yeah.
and then just click,
All right.
it's quite useful if you want to highlight a range, just like that as such. Yes, and
Okay.
it shows the extended in
Oh, so you know the F8's turned on by the
You do,
EXT.
yes.
Okay, so that's good news for the Word people that are used to that keystroke.
Yes.
Exactly the same one.
Right, so I'll just turn that off.
You must remember to turn it off, or you
Yeah.
probably select the whole
It
thing.
does become unselected if you go into another workbook or worksheet.
Okay, so there's the top 10 questions. But what about these cell notes? It'd be nice just to finish on having a look at how you did those cell
Yes,
notes.
certainly. I mean, I've used it for prompting, basically. It's saying demonstrate the effects of the F8 key by pressing it. So
Yep.
it's very useful. And if you've got formulas in cells as well, it's very good to be able to tell the user what they're doing. So you can see what's behind the cell,
Yep.
or how it's working it out.
So how do you put it into the cell?
Right, the way you do that is you would highlight the cell. I'll just set one up down here. And you go to the Insert menu and select Note.
Okay.
Okay, and I can just type in anything in here, so... Oops, if I
Hello.
could type.
So you've got a lot of, obviously you can type a lot of text in here.
Yes, you can. It's quite a big area you can... There we
What
are.
does that sound note? Can you add sound to the cell as well?
You can, yes. I will demonstrate that in a minute. for
Excellent.
you. Right, so you can see it's put a red marker in the corner to indicate it's got a cell note. So now if I move my cursor over that cell, it just shows
Excellent.
you the text that's in there.
It's very handy, I guess, if you have a large spreadsheet you're giving to other people to work with, just to give them
Yes.
some guidance on what you're
It is.
doing.
Yes. I mean, you can turn that off as well. If you go to Tools Options, it's a very useful place, this Tools Options.
Yes, I've already been there a lot.
And then just go into View,
Yep.
and you've got your note indicator, so you can turn it off there.
Okay.
Okay, and if you go into Edit, you've got... no, it's not down there.
Not an edit?
Yeah, if you just go into View and turn the note indicator
Right,
off,
okay.
and you can see it's not there anymore. And if I hover over it, it doesn't show it.
So even though you've set the note, it just won't show it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you had sound. Is that something you can give us a demonstration of?
Yes, let me just turn it back on, because the note indicator. Okay, right, if we just quickly move over to another workbook a minute. Here we are. This is one I've got set up.
Yep.
So if I just move the cursor over the cell,
Oh,
there's a rather
goodness me.
vicious sound
Was that
there.
your stomach? You must be very hungry.
No, that's a dog growling.
Do that again. All right, so you really don't want people to go into the cell, basically.
I mean, I thought this would be quite a good instance of where you've got a protected cell and you don't want anybody to touch it. Because I think it would scare you off quite nicely.
Well, yes, it scared me off. I was thinking about
Yes.
leaving then.
Yeah.
And that was through the same insert note dialog box?
Yes. If we just quickly go back to the insert note, let's just pick that up. And you see you've got the import there.
Yep.
You can record, but you need to be set up for that. But
So if you had a microphone connected, you could record your own voice?
You could, yes. And you see you've got, it's picking up for WAV files there, wave
Right.
files, and those are your sound files. So you go off and pick that up.
So if you've got some on your system that you can use, you could add those
You
here.
could, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So hours of fun there for all the family. And that's obviously the top 10 questions.
It is, yes.
Was that growling dog one of them?
No, not really. But it's useful to know it's there.
Yeah. Well, I knew you could put a note in, but I didn't realise you could have sound as part of it.
Yes, yes.
Good.
Fancy it.
Okay, well, that's very useful. I'm sure that covers perhaps 80 or 90% of the key problems that people have with Excel.
It does, yes.
Good. Well, thanks for that. We'll move on now and have a look at the next topic. Well, we know Excel has a wide variety of functions available to people,
Yes, it does.
but I just want to understand the difference between a formula and a function, because we're looking at formulas now.
Mm-hmm.
So can you help us to understand the difference?
I can. I've actually got a spreadsheet set
I
up with
thought
some
you might.
example formulas
Okay,
in.
well, let's go and have a look at that.
Okay. Let's quickly open it up.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. There's formulas.
Yep. Oh, a nice colourful one too.
It's my...
Margaret's Hardware Store.
It is, yes. Made up.
Ah, right, okay.
So I've got a few examples of some hardware that's been sold, like spade, fork, hose pipe, and some product ideas, and the quantity and the price.
Okay.
So we just quickly move over to the revenue. So that's how many have been sold over the year, for instance, the price of each one.
Yep.
And I've just got a formula in there. So if we have a look at the formula bar, so it's C6 times D6.
And this is, you just type that formula in.
Yes, yes. It's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
And so on. I've just copied that down,
Yep.
that formula, into those cells. And if we go down to the bottom, I've used the sum function here.
Total revenue.
Yep. And you can see I've done sum of E6 to E10, so that's this area here.
Okay.
So that's a basic. That sum function is just done by clicking on there, the auto sum function.
Right.
So that's one. And I've got a bit further down, I've got my sales reps and how much revenue they've created each month. So what I've done here is I've actually got a very similar formula. So if we just move it across one, here's my annual revenue.
Yep.
So I've got the sum function again. I've also got to use range names here, actually. So let's just move down. That's the next one over, actually. So
That's a very busy spreadsheet, this one, isn't it?
It is, yes. There we are. I've got the sum.
Oh,
I've
you've got the person's name.
Yes, I've got the quarterly revenue there. So it's just picked up this annual revenue divided by 4. I've also got...
Yet another note.
oh, yes.
Right.
There we are. So if I just click down there, and if we go up to the formula bar, I've got John's... I'm using the range name John, basically.
So John here represents a range of values.
It does, yes.
And you've summed up those values and then divided it by 4.
I have, yes. So if we quickly go and have a look at the range John, so what I can do is if I click on this down arrow here,
Yep.
it gives me the names in the worksheet. So you can see I've got Chris, John, Mark, Sally, all my typing mistakes there.
I can see your typing mistakes, yes.
Not very good on that. So if I quickly click on John, it takes me to the area that covers John. So we just move over.
So it's highlighted that area now.
Yes, and that's their sales figures for the year.
Okay. So you would use the range names for situations where perhaps the cell reference doesn't mean a lot to somebody?
Yes, I mean, it does indicate it's more meaningful, basically. So, I mean, you can quickly see, well, that probably is John, that area.
Yes.
So, and then also I've used a function, an Excel function in the cell below. I've used the average function because it does the same thing.
Okay, but what if we wanted to, you've got the data there, what if we just want to create a formula now, adding up some cells or dividing or multiplying? Can we do that in a new cell?
We can, yeah. So let's just move over one here. What would you like to add up?
Well, just to show people how they can create the formula.
Okay, just put the equal sign in.
You start with an equal sign?
Yes, otherwise it would just be entered in as text.
Okay.
Or a value. So I could just click on this cell. You can see it picks up the cell reference.
Yep.
Say if I wanted to divide it by 2, so just divide 2.
So using backslash for divide.
Yes. So that would just be return. So it's just entered it in there.
So 33180.5.
So if I wanted to calculate the sum of the cells, we just move down, do equals sum, open brackets.
Yep.
Let's just move over a bit. And So I'm just going to pick up some data there.
You're just dragging over that area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and can you see up in the formula bar it says D19 to E20 there?
And it's using the colon as a separator.
It is, yes.
Okay.
So if we just click in there, and I can put close brackets. Okay, and then say I want to divide it by 5, for instance. And just press OK.
And there's the result.
Mm-hmm.
And now that the formula's set up, any changes to the cells
Yes.
will be reflected in the
It
result.
does. I mean, if I change this number here,
Yep.
so if I just put 1 in there, for instance, you can see it
Aha.
automatically calculates.
Okay. Now, when I was at school, we had this thing called order of precedence, or precedence, depending on where you come from, of course, where you had to use parentheses to enclose
You
certain
do,
calculations.
yes,
Now,
yes.
what are the rules there in Excel? Just to put you on the spot here.
Basically the same as you learned at school,
Oh,
where
right,
you
okay.
have to make sure everything's grouped in the right way.
Yes.
It's like dividing and timesing.
You can't
have
just
to-
go 2 plus 3 multiplied by 4 divided by 3. You've got to use
No,
parentheses to separate
if you
them.
wanted 2 plus 3 first,
Yep.
you would put 2 open brackets 2 plus 3
Yep.
close brackets
Okay.
times 4.
Right.
So I could quickly show you if you like.
Okay, that's good. I think it's a good, so people know how to do that.
All right, let's just go down into this cell. So, for instance, I want to do, like you said, I want to do equals open brackets.
Yep.
So I do E19, so I do plus.
And you're
One.
clicking into the cell you want to refer to. Could
I
you just
am.
type? You can just type the cell reference as well, can't you?
You
A2
can,
or 3.
yes.
Yeah.
But it ensures you've got the right thing in there.
Yes.
So close brackets, divide by, say, 10.
Yeah.
So I've got my precedence there. I want to add up E19 and E20 before I divide by 10.
And if you didn't have the parentheses there, it would say E19 plus the result of E20 divided by 10.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So just press return there. Another one, say if you wanted to do E19 plus E20 divided by 10, you would set it up so you would have equals E19
Yep.
plus open brackets E20 divided by 10.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
the other example. So
And
you-
that ensures Excel does a calculation within the parentheses first.
it does, yes.
Yep. Okay. We saw a moment ago how you used a range name for John's name.
Yes.
Can we see how you could create a range name?
Yes, certainly. Right, if we just go down to... should we go up to the top data, I think?
Okay.
Because we've got Q1.
Just using the scroll bars there to move across.
Yes.
These have changed too, of course, haven't they?
They
sort of-
have.
They're much larger, the boxes now you're dragging.
And also you can see what position, what column you're going to be in, so you can be a bit more...
Yep.
You don't go all
Bit more
over the place,
precise, aren't you?
basically. Right, so we could actually call this the spade section.
Spade section, okay.
So I could pick up the price for spade and actually just call that section spade.
So you've just, have you just clicked in one cell there?
I have. I've clicked in
D6.
D6 there.
Yep.
Okay, and the way I could just type in spade is just by clicking in here.
You just click into the box.
Yes, and just type in spade and just press return.
And that's it.
Yeah, so if I was over here and I wanted to go to the cell spade,
Yep.
I would click on the down arrows, find spade, and
Oh,
it
right.
takes me there.
And your cursor jumps down.
Yes. Let's just have a look. That's fork, isn't it? Another way of doing this is to go to the insert menu, select name, okay, define,
Yep.
and there you can see the names I've got in the workbook, and I can just type fork in there.
Do these names just apply to the worksheet you're in?
They apply to the workbook.
Oh, the workbook, yes. And can they be referenced from other workbooks or
They
other
can,
files?
yes.
Okay. Good.
So just click on OK there.
Yep.
And if we just go up to the, you can see up here, just put fork up there for me.
Okay. So it's exactly the same procedure.
It is, yes.
And then
It's
when
a
you're
bit
doing
quicker.
when you're doing the calculation that involves that cell, you type fork instead of E10 or whatever it was.
You can, yes.
Yeah.